Hello, welcome back. We're at the Precious Metals Summit in Zurich and I'm with Jim McDonald again, the President and CEO of Kootenay Silver. Jim, good to see you.
Yeah, good to be here again.
How's the road been since we called up in Beaver Creek in September?
Well, yeah, that's it was a couple months ago.
Yep.
So we've been doing lots of drilling at Columba. We're in the middle of the program then at probably finished 8,000 meters. Now we're at about 12,000 meters completed. And we have, what do we have? We have about 8 holes still to report, and
Yep.
we're still drilling.
You're saving the best for last? I mean, the current ones I've seen, multi-kilo silver hits.
Yeah.
I mean, they were looking pretty tasty.
Yeah, so since that time we've taken the strike length from, beginning of the program, 450 meters to over 1,200 meters on that one vein.
Yeah.
We've gotten down to 250, 300 meter depths on it, wide open in all directions, and as you pointed out, many holes coming back with kilogram type numbers. And I think just as importantly are some of the widths we're seeing. We're getting intercepts of 30 and 40 meters wide of medium grade around these real high grade cores, so pretty incredible zone.
Okay, so you're looking at potentially a nice big silver open pit.
Well, no, it'd be underground because this vein system's barely exposed at surface. So what happens is you got varying topography. You've got a volcanic cone that sits like that. At the bottom, you can just see your veins exposed. As you run up the hillsides in any direction, that vein's down here underneath.
Okay.
So you're up high drilling down to hit the top of it and then deeper. Okay. So
where does mineralization often start then? So it's not from...
As a rule of thumb, 1,750 meters above sea level. That's the elevation that we want to hit.
But in terms of from surface, how you're talking about, you're not drilling very deep at the moment, right?
It'll depend where you are on the hill.
Okay.
So if you're at the bottom of this cone, it's right there at surface.
Right.
So it's very shallow. 10 meters in, you could hit it.
Okay.
But when you're up at the top of the hill, you may have to drill down 150 meters, 200 meters before you hit it.
And is this epithermal?
Yeah, classic.
Yeah, okay. And you're talking about widths of this vein system. So 30 meters, did you say, some of the widths of the medium grade?
30, 40 meters. We had a hole 164, a drill core length of 98 meters of real good grade. 38 meters of over 300 grams inside that. True widths of those zones were about, on that hole, about 50% of that true width. So just incredible fat zones. Yeah, really good.
How obviously you haven't done a resource yet, but I remember when we were talking in Beaver Creek, you were indicating that the rate that these things, the rate that you're going at the moment, the success rate you're having with the drill bit, we could be potentially next year looking at a resource and maybe even potentially some economics. So it was a very...
Well, yeah, no, the economics will be down the road, but we could be started on an economic study next year, potentially if things just went gangbusters. And so with the 20,000 meter drill program that we are doing now, it'll be done by about the end of the year. And combined with the 30,000 meters we drilled before, that's probably enough for a maiden resource. So that's what we're looking at in the new year, having a maiden resource out, as long as we're hitting the milestones we want.
This is one of the tough things, is obviously pre-resource. It's really good that you're getting these really nice widths. It's great that you're getting really high grade, but it's quite hard unless you've got a desktop and you're a geo. It's quite hard to really grasp what the scale of these things are until you actually see this 43101 or whatever else. But do you have an expert or a resource target or anything that, I know that you're limited sometimes on what you can or can't say, but or can you say anything that it's analogous to in terms of what potential size could be of this thing?
Yeah, geologically this vein system, it's turning into a vein district actually. It's really what it is.
Yeah.
It was really unrecognized as such before we started drilling there, because when we picked the project up, it'd never been drilled actually, even though there was those 2 periods of historic mining, but never drilled.
Right.
And so now we've defined the vein system to be about 4 kilometers in length in one direction, 3 kilometers in another direction. So this is on the scale of other classic Mexican vein systems that are holding resources anywhere from 100x million ounces to 300 or 400 million ounces. So it's got the scale of that in terms of size. And then when you're getting the drill results like we're hitting, I mean, when you're getting 38 meters over 300 grams, 34 meters a half a kilo, and narrower intercepts that are kilogram up to 3 kilogram numbers, well, that bodes pretty well for what the size potential could be here. So after 50,000 meters of drilling, we should have enough holes for a maiden resource. And we'd really like to see that maiden resource be in a 50, 60 million ounce range for starters, and then building on that.
Wow, okay. And talk to me a little bit about the continuity of it. Obviously, it's still early days. There's still a lot more drilling to be done, but you're talking about these very large widths with sort of 300, 400 grams per ton, and then you've got these sort of narrower zones. But in terms of the overall, you're talking, how long was the strike? About 4 kilometers that you were saying?
Yeah, it depends on the vein. So the longest structure is about 4 kilometers long. It's pretty lightly drilled so far. The best results are to what we call the D vein, which we've now extended for 1,200 meters of length, strike length, and consistent hits along the entire way, which is just incredible. Then the historically worked vein is called the F vein, and we've got over 40 holes in that, defining 700 meters of consistent strike length hits along that whole 700 meters. So the continuity is really good on these veins, which bodes well.
What are you looking at in terms
resources.
of like average widths so far?
It'll depend on the vein.
Yeah. Okay.
So, like on the D vein, you can vary from 1 meter is the narrowest hit we've had to the widest or true width will be in a 30 to almost 40 meters wide.
Incredible the difference between the.
The veins can really pinch and swell.
Yeah.
And you want to find those swelling areas, and they'll have a rake. They'll be traveling this way or that way as they go to depth, and you want to really establish that because then you can zero in on those trends and really build ounces quickly.
Yeah, okay. So talk to me a little bit more about what the plan is over the next 12 months. Obviously, we've spoken about this at Beaver Creek, and I'm sure it hasn't changed too much, but you said you're coming to the end of a 20,000 meter campaign. You've done, what, 12,000 meters now?
Yeah, we're at about today, it's just over 12,000 meters.
Okay, so still 8,000 meters to come between now and, say, January or February, would you say?
Yeah, final results, I'm assuming we'll have all that drilling done by the end of December. So the remaining results will be coming out towards the end of January on that.
Okay. And what are those final results on? Are they on the current veins, or are you doing further greenfield exploration work with the drill bit?
Mostly on the current veins and defining the limits of what we've found already.
Okay.
And there'll be a few holes that are more exploratory on veins that we haven't tested yet.
Okay. And talk to me a little bit about the region that you're in. Because you're in Mexico, right? Claudia's just come in. What state are you in? How pro-mining is that state individually?
Yeah.
Let's talk a little bit about. I know it's still early stage.
So the Columba project is in Chihuahua State.
Okay,
so that's
state.
One of the best mining states in Mexico. Very pro-mining. And we're on the northern extension of the famous Sierra Madre trend. So that trend runs northwest along the western part of the country, and it hosts most of the big silver mining districts of Mexico. And we're in the northern extent of that. So geologically, we're in the right place.
Okay. And obviously, you've got zinc and lead byproducts that seem pretty high grade as well. I think I saw in one of your drill hits it was around 6.7%. I guess it's probably too early. Have you done any met yet? But I guess it's a bit too early for that. But this looks fairly conventional. Silver, zinc, lead. I assume the route would be to make concentrate down the line?
Well, that's to be determined. So whether it's going to be a concentrate or a leach circuit, it'll depend, as you say, on the metallurgy. It'll depend on the average grade and the lead zinc, because we've got some variation in our base metal content. So many of the veins have lead zinc in them, but not a significant amount. And then there's other areas that have quite high concentrations of lead and zinc. So those are the details that will get it worked out as you advance further along into the resource stage and then preliminary economic assessment.
But in terms of the mineralogy, is there anything that you're worried about in terms of some of the other minerals that you're seeing, or any nefarious metals in there at all?
The vast majority of what we see is just classic veins with silver sulfur minerals primarily, so the kind of minerals that respond well metallurgically.
Okay. What's the silver reporting to? Is it what's the mineral that it's associated with?
Oh, well, what we see acanthite, we see probably what's called probasite, we see some tetrahedrite, we see native silver as well.
That's always nice to see.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Let's talk a bit about your shareholder registry. Obviously, you reached $1.50 not too long ago. We saw obviously a really nice silver price, some great results coming out. Pulled back a little bit to about 110, 111 as we are right now. About 70 million market cap around there, isn't it, floating around? You're now getting to that point where you're putting some splashy incepts out. I'd imagine you're now starting to get a few more eyeballs on you. What does the register look like as it stands? Because I think this is going to be quite an important year for you as you release some more results.
About 30%, well, if you include some shareholders like Eric Sprott, Condire, then you're probably over 36, 37% sort of institutional high net worth.
Okay.
And then we have, I think it's something like 8,000 or 9,000 registered retail shareholders as well. So quite a big retail following at the same time.
Is that translating into quite a bit of liquidity in the stock yet?
Well, our liquidity responds to the silver price really well. We have a lot of leverage of the silver price because of the three other deposits that we have, and the large resource base behind that. So we trade pretty closely with that silver price, and when silver kicks up, the last 90 days, our average is about 190,000 shares a day.
Okay.
But in the last, the past month when silver was breaking through $34, it quickly went from 250 to 500,000 a day.
Wow. Okay. So, yeah. And how much skin in the game does people like yourself and other management have?
Well, I started the company 15 years ago, so we've put a lot of money in. Yeah. We had to unfortunately go through a consolidation a year ago, 10 for 1, which makes my average price at about $2.50 approximately.
Okay, a little bit off where you are now.
Yeah.
So you're motivated to get that back up.
I'm motivated.
Yeah. And what about your background? Have you worked? Obviously, you've been doing this for 15 years. Have you worked in Mexico before? Have your team worked in Mexico before? Have they built epithermal silver mines in the past? How much background do you have in that?
Yeah. I've been going down to Mexico for 23 years now. And my introduction was when we went down there to look at a deposit that was for sale called the Mulatos deposit. It was a gold deposit. And we were just a junior company bidding on this asset that Placer Dome had put for sale, a big Canadian mining company, the bottom of the gold market. And long story short, we managed to win the process and purchase the deposit against debentures that we had to pay back. And to help pay those, we brought in another junior called Alamos Minerals, and that became Alamos Gold. I stepped off that board in 2012, and we were doing at that time, I think, 200,000 ounces a year off that mine. Yeah. So that was my introduction to Mexico, and I couldn't believe the underexplored nature of the country in general. And the Columba discovery is a testament to that, a project that had been mined twice in the past but never drilled. Just an incredible opportunity actually. And so, I've had experience running underground mines. I've had experience with the Alamo story. Our chairman, Ken Berry, put a open pit gold mine into production 6 years ago in Arizona. So our team and board is experienced right from that grassroots discovery level right up to mine operations and mine building and financing all of those steps along the way.
And talk to me about this journey, because obviously it seems baffling in a way that you've had this thing for 15 years, but really it seems like the last 12 months you've really got the...
We've made three other discoveries that under $30 just don't make sense.
Yeah.
Above 30, at least two of them start to look really interesting. But this fourth discovery, it looks like it's going to be the best one because of the grade and the widths and everything we're getting. It looks like it's going to.
And is this land that you've had for this 15 years, or this land?
No,
you've taken on afterwards.
Just 4.5 years ago, we picked up the option to earn 100%. Okay. We made the last payment in May of 23 for 100%.
Oh, so then sort of since then you've really gone and explored this ground, right? Okay. So what? Obviously, you got the plan of obviously releasing a resource early next year, was it?
Yeah. That's right. Yeah.
Okay. I guess subject to that, you can then really you want to demonstrate. Do you want to be able to demonstrate that you got over the magic number seems to be about 100 million ounces now in silver, right? Do you want to get there first before you start doing some economics?
Well, yeah. Before you do economics, you probably want to be up very close to that number.
Okay.
And because you have more ounces to carry capital costs, and the numbers will look better. And for a maiden resource, we'd really like something that's going to be 50 million plus on the first go, and then building from there.
And that would be, say, for example, you hit the 50 million. That would be based on how many meters of drilling?
Hopefully 50,000, because that's what we'll have at the end of this program.
Okay. All right, nice. And then what would the program then look like next year? Another 50,000, do you think? Is that the target?
Yeah, continued drilling. We've have 50,000 meters designed right now, and the 20,000 that we're executing is part of that. So just continue drilling. What we would be doing is continue drilling and defining the limits of what we've already found, plus going after the veins that we haven't even drilled yet.
Okay. All right. So there's a pretty clear pathway here to turn this into a pretty serious.
Yeah, it's all about drilling right now.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. Okay. Look, anything else that I haven't touched on that you think worthy of shareholders to know, or any final thoughts from your perspective of where the company is at the moment?
Well, we're funded through this program, so we're in really good shape financially, and I think with the results we're getting, we've got fabulous discovery potential here and potential for a real big re-rating because of the existing resources that we have in the ground, over 214 million silver equivalent M&I on our previous discoveries. Gives us tremendous leverage at the silver price, and then we believe that we're just entering the early stages of a silver bull market here that could last for some time, and could see a lot of upside in the silver price. I think we're just beginning to see where that can go.
Okay, good. I was going to end it there, but I've actually thought of another question that I really want answered. Sorry, mate. The other projects that you did find, are you trying to monetize them at the moment? Are you trying to sell them on, or
not at the moment.
What's the plan for them?
We updated the resource reports on those projects last year. There were two reasons. One, we wanted to get, we had a deposit that didn't have an estimate on it yet. And the La Cigarra deposit that we have, the resource was stating too low a grade. We did a new geologic model and we showed it was being diluted, so we increased the grade significantly there. And then we just wanted to have those projects upgraded and updated and ready to move forward once we're in the middle of a strong silver bull market.
Is that something that you want to spend money on and do in a strong silver bull market yourself, or is it something that you want to find a partner to work on with you, so you can focus on the main prize?
We'll look to monetize those. We could advance them to the next one or two steps ourselves. Yeah. But you really got to stay focused. I mean, as a junior company,
you've got something really special here, right? Yeah. Yeah, Jim, I love the story. Thank you very much.
Yeah.